G'day and welcome to Matty's Workshop. If you were born like I was, and in the mould I was in, you'd know that the height was left out of the mould, and that height can go in a lot of areas. Yeah, I'm thinking of my hands. So, what I have a little bit of trouble with is holding a micrometer is alright in a small micrometer, but it's the bigger suckers. My hands just ain't big enough, and they're fat, they don't move, problem. So you're trying to balance something in this hand, use a micrometer like you should, like a little, scones and cream job, just dainty little finger. I've almost dropped them, I've done all sorts. Had trouble. In the end, I end up, sometimes I do actually put this lightly in the vise and then do it that way. So, leads me to a new project, is to build a micrometer stand. Could be a bit of a major help for me actually. So, I have done a drawing, very, very technical for my terms anyway. Well, for the way I draw, it's a lot of lines and I'm getting a bit confused myself, but it doesn't matter. So I've got a piece of material and there's a micrometer stand hiding in this somewhere. So I'll swing you around, look at the page, see if you can get confused as I am, and we'll start machining it. What we have here, 100 millimeters long, 45 millimeters wide, and 35 millimeters high. The micrometer is going to sit at a 45-degree angle. There's going to be a wedge that will come forward and lightly clamp the micrometer in there, which will have a screw, a thumb wheel on the end here. And this is a recess to hold the thumb wheel in place. That will come clearer later. So I'm going to go to the power hacksaw, set it going for half an hour or so while it cuts that piece off to 100 mil long. Then it's cup of tea time already. Okay, we've got the piece cut off to 100 mil, or fraction over, so I can clean the ends up. I'm going to, because this has got rounded edges, just going to knock it down to get rid of that rounded corner, and then flip it and then keep turning it down until I get to the right dimensions. So I want to eliminate all these rounded corners first, or on the bottom end especially. The top's going to be beveled, so you'll understand what I mean when I'm doing it. That's what we have so far. I haven't done the ends yet, obviously. So far I'm really, really happy with the finished result. So I've only got this face to clean up now. It's just basically clean it up, and then I can start putting the 45-degree chamfers on it and on the front as well. So I'll get this set up and clean that up and see how it looks after all that. Okay, I've got the part stuck on its end now, just to clean up both ends. Just run it slow because there is a lot of stick out from the vise and relatively light cut. Just letting it tick across there. And then I'll put the shear tool in and put an end on it, and then I can start putting the other features in. So far, it's looking really, really nice. I did use an indicator to line this up, so she's pretty much smack on. I am super happy with that finish. There's nothing wrong with that. It's super smooth. That was a 2 thou depth of cut with a 10 thou step over. That's what I've discovered. No more than about 2 thou on the depth of cut with the shear tool. You can see that there. Yeah, no more than about 2 thou, and you'll get a good result. Well, I do anyway. So really happy. Here's the setup I've got. I've got a small V block in under here. I've run an indicator across this top edge, and along this edge here. It's all running true within about 1 thou, which is more than adequate for me. It's actually probably got that close. So I'm going to bring it around here. You see the line I've got here scribed. I'm going to cut down to that line, then flip it and do this one, and then work out a way to hold it to do this front 45. So time to get into it. Let's down to height, or fraction above height, so just need to run a shear tool across and that'll be near on good enough for the first side. So that only took about 10 minutes, I suppose. Take long at all. So I'm up to putting the 45 chamfer on the front here. So I've used best I had as a rough guide, and then gonna just use a digital box to fine tune it. So I've got it sitting there pretty good now. It's hovering. Yeah, plenty good enough for me. Just a little update. When that last cut, these corners intersected beautifully. So I know I've got the part square in the vise. Yeah, everything's just going nice. I was a bit worried it might have been I'd put the indicators on it every which way when I set it up, but I thought it might have been it doesn't take much to get it a bit skew-if. So luckily I've nailed it this time, I think. There we go, she's done. And I'm super happy with that. I guess now it's over to the mill. Start putting some features in over there. It's going to be touch and go there. I do actually get as deep as I really wanted to go without having a clash with the collar chuck against the job. I am going to have to extend this out a little bit further towards the bottom of the cut. I've choked it up a bit now, but I will have to extend it out a bit. Hopefully I can just gain enough to get that depth. So, yeah, it's going to be tight, but we'll give it a go. So I'm going to have to set up a bit of coolant. Okay, I'm not overly happy with that finish. Might try and clock that back in after and put it's a bit rough down there, about halfway down. I've got to put a 6mm slot, 20mm deep. So I've marked it here. So I was going 7 o'clock at night. I'll just do a couple of passes, then give it away for the night, I think. I got that in. 6mm slots in there, 20mm deep. Now I did screw up and I got a bit aggressive and I burnt the end of the bloody carbide end mill. It is getting a bit late in the evening to be running the compressor, so I was just dribbling hand cooling on it. But anyway, that part's done now. I'm not going to take it out of the vise. I've got to put a mill this out in the centre here for the wedge to go across. And 14.98. I can't get my hand around there to lock it up. You have to take my word for it. So we're right on the borderline of touching this front edge. Actually, I think I might have nicked it just a fraction. No, it's okay. Oh geez, I got a bloody mess here, I tell you. But that's the fun of it all. That's pretty much the milling finish, and this, all bar a hole in the end here, this part's as good as done. I was going to do this on the shaper, but I'm going to give the mill a crack at it. So I've got to take it down 204 thou on this face, and then the same on the other side. So well, after a little bit of polishing and sanding, I got that to fit just nice. So what I've got to do now is work out how I'm going to do the end screw. So it's probably going to end up being, when you wind it as if you're going out with the right hand thread, it's going to wind that forward. So because I can't cut left hand threads, and I'm getting left hand dies, so it's just going to have to be the opposite direction. Anyway, I'll work out how I'm going to do that now. Okay, so what I've done, I've gone ahead and turned this up. I put a 6mm thread in there. This goes in there like so. This then goes in there when you wind it up a bit more, and it'll go up in the hole there. So it sits about there, and I've gone ahead and turned up partial knob. That will have a 4mm screw in here, and it'll screw in Loctite into the back of this, into this piece here. Then I've got to machine up a brass ring that gets Loctited to inside here, so it can't go back. It can only go by the when you turn the knob. So that's where I'm up to. Now I know I've skipped through a little bit, but it's just the way it is. Now this for a sketchy setup. I want to do something different with the knob. Instead of just having it like a knurl on it, I want to do something different. And Craig from Tasmania, Craig Workshop, he made some knobs for his Stefan Gottswind indicator holder. Use his rotary table to put notches in the side of it with an end mill. I haven't got a rotary table, so next best thing is to utilise the indexing fixture I made. It's just sitting on 1, 2, 3 blocks. It's quite solid. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm not going to go in. I'm only going to go in probably just over 1/4 the diameter of the end mill. It's an 8mm end mill, and I'm going to put 6 divisions around, or 6. Yeah, index it 6 times. So hopefully this works. We can only hope. I don't know what happened, but take it out and have a look. Don't look too bad from here. Look at it from 30 yards and it should look good, eh? It's time to put this jigsaw puzzle together. I'm sorry about this table rocking a bit, but that's just life in Maddie's workshop. So what we got here is all the components. So much crap anyway. So there's all the components. So And just like that. That there I am pretty impressed with actually. I'm really happy. Well, there we have it, the finished article. I am really happy with the way this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. This was really a lot of fun actually. Just turn this around while I set this up. Here we go. See it there like that. Looks pretty good, I reckon. I'm really happy with it. And for the thinner back ones, it's going to be nice to have a third hand. My hands aren't real good at the best of times. I get a lot of cramps in my hands pretty severely, and if I'm trying to hold something, yeah, guaranteed that's when you're going to get a cramp and you're trying to hold something that you really don't want to drop, and I certainly don't want to drop my micrometers. So that there was another successful tool. I was a bit bummed when this slightly moved in the indexing fixture. I was a bit peeved actually, but it's not that noticeable. Like, it's not bad. It's not going to affect it any which way, but it's going to get scratched up. I was going to go to the town and polish the guts out of all this, but it's like my other tools, they sit in a box and you get just broken hearted when you see them scratched. I know I do. So if it's not that polished, you can't get that scratched. Anyway, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a comment what your thoughts are, where I could have went different. And thanks. See you later.